How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Diamond Mount channel. If you're new to me, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I'm Chris Bilton. I was a professional jeweller in the UK for over 20 years, but now I'm out here living in Japan and keeping my skills alive as I'm not an employed jeweller anymore. So I'm making jewellery making instructional videos for sharing what I've learned over the years, putting them on YouTube, so welcome. Click like and subscribe if you're into all that. So today is a quick, simple video. I have had a request from one of the patrons, advice about cleaning up a casting. So I was about to do this platinum ring, so I'll just talk about a few things to look out for, give you some advice and stuff on cleaning up castings. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be cleaning up today, just a little bit about preparing things for casting. Get things, surfaces nice and smooth. There's no point in getting things polished because nothing is going to be coming out of casting polished, unfortunately. It'd be nice if they did. But they won't, so just get things buffed up really nicely, and you've got to sprue them. In the UK you've got to sprue them. In Japan I really like it because they don't expect you to sprue things, it's all part of the service, they do it for you. But in the UK we used to complain, because like say we'd carve up in wax a really nicely made chunky signet ring, we'd put sprue on the back and then it would come back from the casting. Like they'd cut off our sprue and then put a massive fat lumpy messy one right on top of the flat section on top of the signet ring. Problem with that is once you cut off that sprue and clean it up, there was nearly always porosity holes underneath the sprue, so we'd get really annoyed with it. We knew that would happen, so if we sent them a new one, even tell them on the phone, like the special breed casting companies and the people that work there, you even tell them on the phone not to move the sprue and they say yeah, okay, we'll do it. Comes back, they cut it off, they put it on the top. And so we clean it up anyway because we're running out of time, doing a job for a customer, promised it for a certain time as always, and they ruined it because like you cut it off, file it back, and then after polishing, there's loads of porosity holes under it, and right on top, the worst possible place on the ring. So yeah, if you're a casting company, please you're just the casting company, just do what the customer asks. If there's a sprue on it, just use your expertise and do a nice casting with that sprue. Stop moving things around and ruining things for us. You're causing a lot of trouble. Anyway, so a little rant from the past, getting it off my chest after like 20 years later. Right, so anyway, things that are thin as well might come back a bit out of shape. Things like things shrink as well. We used to reckon it was about 3% in the UK. In Japan, I learned the hard way, it's more like 5-6%. Things shrink a lot more. And I learned that the hard way because I did a job for a shop. Like I did a nice pear-shaped cluster. It's pear-shaped diamond cluster around it and then diamonds all the way around the shank. I made it in silver in parts and then had those parts cast. Came back really small, and the person setting it was like swearing about me, like only just got the stones in. Like they said a few of them were touching, a couple of stones had to kind of overlap a little bit. Fortunately, sort of got away with it, but not ideal, and if I'd have known how much it would shrink, I would have made it bigger, of course. So yeah, I learned the hard way, and they didn't give me any more work after that. So yeah, things shrink, and the amount they shrink can vary as well. But in Japan, since that, I've I'll go to a different casting company, go to one in Tokyo now, and they're really good. Like this is a bit of paperwork they got from me. I can literally choose the alloy of the metal, like different amounts of silver. They even do pink silver, do like rose versions of silver. This platinum, this was 900 platinum with Ru, which is ruthenium. That's like it's in the platinum family of metals. So I chose 2% ruthenium in a 900 platinum. And I can't tell any difference. If anything, it's a bit whiter and nicer than 950 platinum in the UK. So it feels the same to work on. So I'm quite liking this stuff. And it didn't shrink as well. I paid a little bit more for some special water casting something. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so a bit more choice of what you want, what you can get out here in Japan. And they sprue things for you, so that's cool. Talking of sprues, quite often my first thing I do to it is cut things off. Platinum, gold is an expensive metal, so if you can chop off a little bit of gold or platinum rather than file it away, I think that's good because you're collecting little crumbs of metal. So that one's a bit too close to the shank. I don't want to risk cutting into the shank because obviously I'll have to make it thinner and kind of ruin it. But that piece inside, I can cut that off and save that little chunk of platinum. careful, yeah, don't let your saw blade jump around and accidentally put nicks in things. So I tend to not cut things right off quite a lot, just something like that. I'll just cut like 9/10 of the way through and then just twist the last bit off. Cool, so I've got a nice little chunk there. So this is a ring, yeah, so I want to, like, thinking ahead, first of all I want to be able to get it on a ring stick, get it perfectly round, so that's why I'm sort of working on the inside first of all. It's not always the case, but on this one it is. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned before, this one's quite thin, so things will come back to you a little bit wonky sometimes. So it's quite commonly a bit of work to get things shaped up nice again. So I'm just basically filing that back. So I filed that off. Next I'm getting this round. So I suppose this video is quite specific about doing a ring. If you've got to make a ring a certain size, you need to be checking your size. If the whole ring has shrank, like the whole thing will be scaled down version, so it's going to be a smaller size. To be careful with that if you're making settings for stones. I like to go to a coarse whizzer. These hard cylinder ones are better than the split mandrels. I've got one somewhere, I can't find it. Yeah, the split mandrels that you just slot paper in and wind up yourself. They're a bit flappy, they're not very nice on cleaning up castings. Where this is solid and stays together, it's better because it's not flapping about, making other little edges more rounded off. So I just gave it a tap on the sides. Basically I was looking around it, it was a little bit twisted, so now it's perfectly round, it's perfectly flat. I'm gonna gently file the sides because now it's got the casting finish plus hammer marks on it. Just very gently. See, I've got a sprue there as well, so I'm making sure that's not sticking out over the edge. Gotta hold this one delicately because it's so thin. That, you can file it off that way, or you can hold it sideways. If it's quite a lot of work, you can hold it sideways, but this ring is so thin, I don't really want to push it that way. I might end up bending the shank again, so I'm going for this technique, this one. This file. So that's filed. That's filed and papered. Got hammer marks around the outside, just gently. Getting rid of those, just evening it out. I almost don't really need to use anything as coarse as that. Just like even something like that would be alright. So anyway, that's done. I mean, I tried to be accurate and I made it anyway, so it's not too much work. If you're having to sort of reshape things, make them look nice, maybe you should have made it nicer before casting. As for the setting, I would typically choose my 3 square. There's a few sort of casting lines around here, like where they cut it out of the mould or something, I don't know. This needs to be cleaned up nice and perfectly, not all making it wonky from filing it wrong. Because after polishing, it's going to show. So yeah, basically I don't want to make it too specific about this ring because you're going to be cleaning up a casting. It's a totally different design, very likely. So yeah, basically I'm just gently getting everything flat in shape, sort of filed finish, go around the whole thing, and then I'll start buffing it out like everything, but As for the inside of rings, I do get them buffed just so I can see that they're perfectly round. And obviously the size increases the more you file it and buff it. So if it's a ring for a customer, you've got to get it to the correct size. There's no point in getting it all buffed out and polished and then finding out the size is wrong, because then you've got to go back and cut it open or whatever, or file it more, kind of wasting time. So yeah, basically get the ring size correct, and then the rest of it I'll just go around it carefully with needle files, whatever I can get away with to work quickly, and yeah, get the surface, get all the little marks out of it, and get it ready for buffing all over. So filed it up all the way around the outsides. Look, most of that was done with my tri-square needle file. Just the shank side of the shank was done with that one. So I'll go straight from that filed finish to my rubber wheel, Rigidisc. Really useful cleaning up cast-ins. That's going from filed to smooth enough for polishing, really. Because this leaves quite a dull finish, you can easily see where there are file marks remaining. So it's really good. Obviously you keep it sharp, and then when you go up to little edges and corners, it just makes them really neat. Difficult to make a mistake, really, with these. So rubber wheels and all your curved bits and in the corners. This is a 600 grade buff stick. As long as your filing's nice and neat, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting it smooth after that. So yeah, flat sections with the buff sticks, obviously. Around the outside of a D section shank, I will be going to... I'd probably go to this rough one again, like I did around the inside, just to get the worst of the file marks off, and neaten off any areas where I had to file a sprue off. Just gets that curvature nice and even all the way around. But then definitely after that coarse one, I would go to the medium ones. I think it might be 600 grade or even a little bit smoother. So yeah, basically next I want to be papering it, that smooth one, all over. And then after that, we'll go around the inside with that one as well now. And then after that, go even smoother. So I go for, that's 1200. That's 1200 glued around the outside of one of those. So I'd be getting it really shiny, but that's only because this is platinum. And platinum's difficult to polish, so you've got to get things buffed really well before you start polishing them. Thanks for watching. If you want to help me out, if you appreciate the video, if you appreciate the whole channel and the effort I'm putting into putting all this information out there, you can simply click like and subscribe. Helps the algorithms understand this channel has valuable content for people. And if you want to take it a step further, you can become a patron or a member. There's links in the description, and you can click on those and learn about all the benefits of doing so. And yeah, that helped me out tremendously to continue the channel and grow it further and offer more of what I've learned over the 20 odd years of being a professional jeweller. If not, just want to just watch and enjoy, that's great. I appreciate that too. And I hope you join me again on the next video. So see you then. Bye.